Like, brother, he was killing these guys. I tell you, his last fight with Gagey, he was beating up everybody with a broken foot and all. He was beating up everybody on stand-up at the gym. All the killers, one by one, he destroyed them all in stand-up. All of them. Usman, all those guys. They couldn't hang with him. Let's face it, he was an ace striker. He hasn't been the same after that loss with Khabib. He went down, and obviously I don't really like him because, you use dirty tactics. You want to talk about a fighter? Go ahead. Free game. But you talked about religion. You talked about family. You talked about country. I don't respect fighters who do that. I heard something about broken hand. In my mind, I'm thinking, why is Umar talking about broken hand? His sparring was great. He didn't show no indication of his hand was broken. So right after the fight, I went back to the room after Islam's fight, and there's Umar with his finger like almost off. And I'm like looking at him like, what the hell is this?
When I argue with people on the internet about who the GOAT is, I don't consider Khabib technically in like the greatest of all time.
Welcome back, OVERDOGS Podcast. We are here. We got a good one in store for you today. Man, Dricus du Plessis pulls out of his fight against Khamzat Chimaev, and Caio, what's his last name?
Borralho.
Caio Borralho is gunning for that title shot. Him and Khamzat been going back and forth. A little social media. Khamzat posts a picture of Caio in the choke hold that Khamzat had him in. What do you guys think about that, man? That they should make that fight?
How long is Dricus out? I think that's the determining factor, right? How long is Dricus out? Because I want to see Dricus and Khamzat.
Right, they'd have to strip him, right?
Well, you could do an interim belt. He can still be a champ, come back whenever. But yeah, I mean that's the fight we all want to see is Dricus and Khamzat. I don't know that Caio is particularly at that level yet.
7-0.
7-0 is I don't know. Khamzat's at a pretty high level, and no disrespect to Caio, we've had him on the show. Super cool guy, great fighter. I just don't know that he has any chance against Khamzat at this point.
Well, I think he deserves the fight. I mean, you can make an argument for Nasruddin.
Anybody gets it? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but like Caio, it's like I don't know, man. I saw a bunch of comments on our stuff saying like Khamzat doesn't deserve all like the special treatment he gets, and he should shut up and fight. And I just thought this was funny. I did respond to one of these comments and say like, "Yo, that's fair now, but he's now earned that." His first 3 fights in the UFC were within a month of each other, and he absorbed 1 significant strike. He already put that work in. Why the f is he going to keep, banging with anybody now? I don't know, but I think it should be Caio, 100%. I'd be okay with Nasruddin, but, dude, if they beat Khamzat, gone. We got to have Dricus. You're right.
That's tough, man. Khamzat's like the best we've seen since Jones.
I think he's less versatile striking, but yeah.
Islam is much more dominant, I think.
Less versatile striking. No one's ever done that to Gerald Meerschaert.
Well, no, 100%. But, with John using teep kicks, like oblique kicks and the spinning elbows and everything, like you're not going to see Khamzat do it, but he can strike.
John's
100%.
kicks are next level for sure.
All right, let's move into this. Chael sitting here saying, hey, the deal is done between John and Aspinall. I have not personally asked. Actually, I did. I hit him today and I was like, yo, just give me a thumbs up if the fight's on. But I don't really want the information because I'm scared I'll leak it at some point. I'll get drunk and I'll be like, yeah, they're fighting. So I don't really want the information. But what do you guys think? You think the fight's on or not on or what?
I think John does it. Man. He's
So you think the fight's done? It's ready to go. Like, Chael said, the fight is done. Contract's done.
John is savage. And he's highly, highly skilled. He's the highest skilled fighter of all time ever in any combat sport.
Yeah. He's got so many haters. It's so wild to watch. Like, Mike, I know you watch your socials pretty closely and kind of, get a little combative with people in the comments. But, dude, his comments are a dumpster fire. It's a dumpster fire of, you're a bum and you're an Aspinall ducker and Aspinall's the GOAT.
It's the
crazy.
UK, man. It's the UK.
They're
people.
crazy. They're crazy.
It was funny when we posted that graphic, and I knew what when Gary sent it to me. Gary, shout out. I went, dude, people are gonna get so mad at this, and it's like we didn't say out of these guys. We just put pictures up there. Don't jump to conclusions.
Yes, I don't know if Mike even knows that.
Right, dude. People are still losing their minds today
Yeah.
about it. Like, bro, get over it. But as far as the John Jones fight goes, I think it was always probably going to happen. I think it just came down to when the right time and like the right amount of money. Exactly. And I don't think Bones is scared of anybody, but I think now it's even more likely to happen sooner rather than later because we've lost now Drickus. Like they now need something for 316, 317. They got to sell something. So like pump out some money to get the big fight done. They have to. That one fight can be your one title fight that holds a pay-per-view.
I agree. I think it's a good point. And I'll say this, Mike, how good did John look at DBX in March?
I mean, he looked
thin, like slim, bro. He looked great.
I mean, it depends on how his weight is hanging, like how low is he, how high does he want to be, how heavy does he want to be for the fight. These are questions like really only John could answer if he wanted to, of like his, but I doubt he would want to go into how his game plan is for thinking about how he wants to approach the Tom Aspinall fight. I'm sure he has game plans for all these small details put together so that he can approach the fight correctly.
My guess is he comes in light.
We had John on here, Mike, prior to you coming on. It was when Sam Alvey was hosting with us. And so we did like an hour-long interview with John, and we tried to get a couple of those things out of him. He will not give up game plan prior to. Like it is, dude, that dude is like lock when it comes to any kind of information leading up to his preparation, any of that. But I'll say this, when we were hanging out at DBX in March, he looked thin, dude. He looked like he was maybe 240 and like pretty shredded. You know what I mean? I say thin, right? But I mean, he carries 240 really well. He was like pretty shredded at 240. And that leads me to believe, he likes himself at 240, 245 against Aspinall better than at like 260 where he was against Gann and Stipe. Probably because he wants to be a little bit quicker because he's already got the power. He doesn't need to worry about that.
I don't know. Usually we see videos of John lifting.
Yep.
He does post that. Videos of him squatting, things like that. So haven't seen that. And I'm sure, if he is going to prepare when they're going to make the fight, it'll probably be towards the end of the year.
I think it might be faster. I think it might be summer. I'll just say this because, and I have no inside information on this. I'm just saying in March, when I looked at him, I was like, damn, he looks like he's in shape, bro. Like he's been like running. He's putting in the road work, the cardio. Like he's been on it.
When I said what's up to John after, like he was kind of on his way out, but shout out the Kawa brothers for introducing me real quick. I want to talk to him about Madden real quick, introduce myself. We talk real quick. When he realized who I was, like we dapped each other up, and I go for like that Brazilian one where you kind of like pat the belly. And I remember, I don't know, bro. It's just, he didn't give, but it went right by. And I was like, this dude is shredded right now, dude. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You could just.
So you went to rub his belly and he was pretty shredded, is what you're saying?
If we're going to be honest, yeah, I went to give him a little, yeah. But yeah, no, 100%, dude. He felt ripped right there.
Mike, did you rub John's belly that weekend or no?
No, I didn't. Good hug though. Gave him a hug. That's my guy right there, man. Little Ocean was upset when he picked him up, but I was like, it's okay, bud.
Yeah. He introduced me and mommy.
I always forget.
Yeah, I think that's what we said. We were like, this who introduced mommy and daddy right here. Shout out to John, man,
Of course. Shout out John, business partner, best fighter ever. I think he gets in that. It's all you Aspinall fans. It's over, boys.
But I'm with you, Bags. He comes in at 225, though. I don't think he comes in as heavy as 240. I think he comes in at 225.
Let's bring our guest in for the day. Javier Mendez is here, coach of the greats. like Khabib and Islam Makhachev. All right, Javier Mendez in the house. What's up, Coach? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Good to see you, Mike.
Oh, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure and an honor. Tell your boys Khabib and Islam I said hi, and we hope to have them at a dirty boxing event one day, watching the
Yeah,
action.
I'm impressed with how you've improved. Very, very, very impressed. Yeah, you've taken it to another level.
Oh, thank you, sir. I have a great team I've built around me, and you know, maybe it's something in the name Platinum. We're just trying to get towards the business, towards the money, and I definitely got a hard head, so it fits inside the fight game.
It's your heart, not your head. You just got a good heart.
Oh, God bless you, brother. I appreciate that. We got to these are my guys, Ice Bagz and Mac Malley. I don't know if you see the show. I doubt that you watch the show. You're too busy training
I'm
those
not
guys.
changing anybody. I haven't been watching anything either. I'm more chilling for the later part of most of what I do now is just do other things that I'm trying to get involved in, but not much on the training. Only three particular guys, if they have events going on that I'm there, like Islam, Umar, and Usman. And but if anybody else is in the camp, yeah, I'm with them. But for the most part, even all my guys at AKA, I'm not really there at all anymore. I'm mostly in Dubai, trying to get other things going. I'm actually looking to actually start a fight team in Dubai. And I'm working on that now, so it could be I do an AKA Dubai real soon. We'll see.
We were just talking about this last week with Tai Tuivasa, and he's spending a lot of time in Dubai. And I know when I was there, Hamzat was training at I forget the name of the gym, the one that's elevated on the
Yeah, I
side of the
think
building.
TK or something like that, Hans or something.
Yeah, TKO, I think it was what it was. Yeah, because I was training there, he was training there. But it seems like a lot of guys now are in Dubai. I don't know if it's maybe that tax free money or what.
Well, it's not tax free for anybody that's a U.S. citizen. That's for damn sure. So we come over here thinking we're gonna get tax free. Good luck with that. Uncle Sam's got you everywhere you go. You're not getting away with it. You're a U.S. citizen. Guess what?
That's right.
You're even if you relinquish your citizenship, you're still bound for 5 years. So it isn't one of those deals where, oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna get rid of my citizenship now. I don't got to pay taxes. Yeah. Good Uncle Sam knows what's up with that. He got that covered.
I did not know that.
Yeah, oh yeah. So what do you have cooking over there, Javier? Give us a little bit of. We like to keep it super casual on here. It's not all just fight stuff. What are you working on that you want to talk about? We'd love
Well,
to hear it.
one of the things, like I mentioned, I'm looking to build a fight team and have. I'm working with the government over here. Just started. I just started. I just decided to do it. I've been offered many a times since I've been here to if I want to do a gym, et cetera, but I didn't want to do it. I have my team. I have Team Habib and I have AK, and that's for life. So I'm always going to have that. But I love Dubai so much that I figured, well, shoot, man, I spend so much time here, and I have it down, dialed in where I only need to really put in 10 hours a week, and I can develop a top-notch team wherever I'm at, as long as I have the resources. And I figured, well, why not? So I approached the government here and they're interested. So we're pursuing the talks. Let's see what happens. Nothing is done yet, but the talks are very promising.
Well, if anybody has resources, it's the Dubai government. So you're in good hands, I think, there,
Oh yeah,
resource
yeah,
wise.
yeah. Over here in the Middle East, there's a lot of rich countries that are involved in this, and they want to become, top, or leaders in one particular field or another. You can hear Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, you name it. They're interested. Bahrain, they're all interested in getting a piece of the action going on this in the world. It's always been dominated by the U.S. presidents. But as you guys know, in boxing, you see what they're doing there, how they're dominating boxing. They're throwing money fist over fist. You know that. So it's kind of hard to compete with the kind of money they're throwing. They're taking over a lot of golf and everything. They're coming. You know, they've been coming, and now we're starting to recognize what they're doing. And it's hard to compete when you know, Mike knows. I mean, you got somebody offering you $1 million for this fight, and someone's offering you 4 or 5. It's a no-brainer where you're going. As long as you're not contract bound, you are not going to stay loyal, because loyalty has never been about anything but entertainment and making a, you know, good living for your family, and that is taking the best offer.
I hear that. I mean, times are changing, which makes me think. I do have questions about the fight game, because I got one of the best coaches of all time in the lobby right now. So I want to ask, you know, considering new age fighters and the old style coaching, you know, like something that Khabib's dad, Dual Map, did, what I figured he had a real old school style approach, just made him work really hard. What is something that maybe you learned from watching him that he did differently than other coaches? And, you know, do you think the old school style of hard work in the new age of fighters is going to stay?
No, and I think it didn't stay with him either. He changed, okay? Because old school Mike to me would be that his father was just going to say the sambo and judo and all the things that he was an expert at, right? But no, his father was more than the simple coach. He was a genius and a visionary, and his father knew what he didn't know, he brought. You know, so he had a great regimen. He was very military disciplinarian type guy, extremely disciplinary. But he also knew a good thing when he saw it, and he knew a good person when he saw it, and he recognized that in me for his kid, you know, Khabib. And so he knew I was a good fit for him. And him and I have the same mentality of how we think. We're not like, let's stay old style. No, let's bring it up. Let's bring in new stuff. But if we don't know it, bring somebody in that has that expertise to bring it to another level. Because if we stay old, you know, it's like this, Mike. You think about it, right? When the first UFCs came out, would those guys with that style win today? I don't think so. I don't think so. They will not win because they're not as technical as they are now. They're not advanced in nutrition. They're not advanced in hardly any other part. The only thing they have back then that they might, some of them have more than some now, is the heart. You know, they have more heart, this and that. But as far as the technical aspect and the application and how to, the diets and everything, they didn't have that. They didn't have that at all. And you know, Mike, you know as well as I know that way back in those days, there was a lot of juice going around, you know, and that's all fine and dandy. But back then, there's a lot of that. There's a lot less of that now going on. There still is going on because you can't ever completely control it because they know how to microdose really, really well now, and it's very difficult to pick it up. So these guys are experts. So as soon as like USADA or WADA, they pick up something, right? The god darn experts are one step ahead too. Next month they got the new stuff that they couldn't catch before. Now they're on to the new stuff because WADA or USADA caught you, you know. So to some degree, it's almost like what's even worth it with those guys if that's going on all the time, you know. But it is what it is, you know. You know, you fight, you risk, you risk.
See, I thought, you know, Habib's style and technique was something almost passed down from generations, a lineage of great sambo and you know, just that Russian wrestling. And it obviously you had to adjust for the sport of MMA, but it was mainly wrestling that's you know, very old school style, and he just did it better than everyone else because of his guidance and leadership from his father and you, his team, and the way he put himself into all of that. And now he's even taken it with the Russian guys. Would you say that Habib's always there training with those guys when you say you've been in Dubai and you haven't really been working with them?
When Habib's training with the guys here, I'm training with them. So if they're training here while I'm here, no, I'm there. You know, I'm the team. I'm the head guy,
Okay.
so I have to be there with them. Habib would go, Coach, where are you? I'm like, what? What do you mean? What, your team's training and you're not training with us? No, I'd be there with them. But they're mostly training in Dagestan and up in the mountains. So if they were here in Dubai, I would be with them, and Habib would be with them also. And he's more training with them than I am by far because they're not in Dubai and I'm not in Dagestan. So, and they have quite a few coaches back home that are fantastic
Okay.
now. And like you were talking about the old school, yeah, they have the old school, but they brought in the new school. They brought a great Muay Thai coach. They brought a great boxing coach. They have a great Taekwondo coach. You know, they're bringing everything. They got wrestling coaches. Those guys got everything you can want now. But old school father style would have been what father just had. But like I mentioned, now you got a boxing coach, you know, Olympic level, silver medalist in Muhammad. He's the boxing coach.
Mm.
Saif Safula is the
Wow.
Olympic Taekwondo coach, you know, and then Magomed is the Muay Thai coach, and he's the head coach, you know, while in Dagestan. So they're adding new things to it, and they learned all that through what we did at AKA. So when Khabib came over to AKA, they brought in all of what we had, brought it over there, and then when I went over there, I saw a lot of what they're doing and bring it back to AK. So we've been exchanging back and forth. So for me, it's like, remember TriStar and Greg Jackson's, right? It was like one and the same. GSP was on both. It's kind of the same thing. You know, we're still one of the same team,
Okay.
but we're different names, but we're one family. You know, and that's how I can equate what's going on. I understand exactly what you're saying in regards to the training, but the training has evolved because if we wouldn't evolved, they wouldn't be the
Right.
champions that they have now. They have all these champions because if you watch these fights, these guys are not winning with grappling as much as they are stand up also. Like Gaji's last fight.
Umar, I could see the Taekwondo training in Umar. He's got the
Yes,
flexibility, the speed on the
yes,
kicks.
yes,
I can see that
yes,
with
yes.
him.
Islam is a top striker at this
Yes, of
point.
course.
Yeah, and he's Islam spent a lot of time with the Taekwondo coach, Saif Safula. He's the Olympic Taekwondo coach. So when Islam's at home, Saif is there training with him. He's like great partners with him. They're like great brothers. These guys is a family, bro. These guys aren't about, you know,
Yeah.
oh, okay, after the weekend, let's go party. There's no partying. It's the same routine. If they, you know what they do, they go hang out, they do picnics together, or they'll go to each other's houses and eat, you know, and they work out. They go hunting. They'll do things of that, you know, adventurous type stuff. They don't go out there. They're not out there drinking. They're not out there doing none of that. No, it's a family, a brotherhood of routine, day in, day out routine. You know, that's it, and that's why they're so disciplined. It isn't that they're better athletes than anybody. They're just better disciplined.
Yeah, I see videos of Islam showing his training partners getting in that river.
Yes, 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 yeah. Yes, that's what. Yeah,
You know, different from United States. Some places like maybe where I came up, it was like we all had this idea that we were going to make it out of the hood, and you know, Dagestan is their hood, and like if they come out for a little bit, they go back. Like, cause AKA was in California, so Khabib went over there, and then he goes back to Dagestan and he builds there. The city of Dagestan is building and getting newer, fresher looks, as you say, but they keep the circle tight. You know, they never had that goal coming up that we're gonna get out of these mountains one day and we're gonna move to a city. They don't think that way.
no, 100%. What they do is what they bring the gold you bring or the money they bring to enrich their community, to help their brothers and sisters, their families. That's what they do, and that's what they have done. All these guys that have made money, Islam, you know, Umar, you know, Usman, and starting with Habib, they started businesses there and for their family members and put them to work. You know, these guys take care of each other. It's kind of like the breadwinner of the family is the one that takes care of all the family. If he's making more money, then he supplies it for the whole family. And when I went there in 2019, you know, Habib took me to his, you know, Makhachev, right, the main town where the gym's at, and he showed me three giant homes that he was building, and one was for his mother, his sister, you know, and one was for him, you know, being his father and his sister, and one was for him. And then he went to the mountain. I went to the mountain village. They have two mountain villages. There's one, the middle one, the one super high. I only went to the middle one, but the same thing there. He showed me what was going on there, and they were building again. I think 4 homes on that one. I'm not sure about 4. It might have been 3 for sure, but definitely it's the same routine. He's building it. He's paying for it. And that's what they've done. Now they have a mountain, like Olympic training facility up in the mountains that Habib built too. So they don't need to go anywhere. They don't need to come to me. They can stay where they're at and just train with each other. But they're with me for one reason and one reason only: loyalty.
I want to see the guys that come out of the super high mountain village that you didn't go to eventually come out, because those guys are going to be more well trained even than the guys in the
No, it's
middle.
the same guys. It's the same guys. Those are the guys you are seeing. Some live there and they come down. So it's the same guys. I know.
I'm making a
Me
joke,
too.
but it is very much a culture. It is very much a cultural thing, right? Because in the U.S., we don't necessarily experience this because people come to the U.S., right? They earn their money and they go back. But like the Mexican culture is the same way. You come to the U.S., you make it, you send it back to the family. Dagestan is very, similar. So it's a very cultural thing. It's interesting to me, but it is, look. The U.S. is the land of opportunity, and it gives opportunity to a lot of different people, and it does give those people an opportunity to go back and feed the village and create jobs and do those things that otherwise would not have been an opportunity,
Correct. So they're just loyal like that. And they're devoted. They're family. They're all of them. Every single one of them is families. They're all families. When I go over there, and I have been there, I haven't been there too much, but the times I've been there, these guys are together, brother. They're out there at each other's homes eating. One night they're eating at so and so's home, the next night they're eating at so and so's home after training. But one thing that always happens continuously, year round, training, all the time. All the time, some kind of training, and it's always been mixed martial arts, and then of course their extra activities like paddleball, soccer, football they call it, or but that's then basketball, and then after that, it's all the extra adventure like sports like motorcycle, skiing, hunting, those type of things. That's what their life's about.
Here's what I'm thinking, Javier. I think we send Mike Dagestan 2-3 years, forget.
If I can stack onto that, you actually made me kind of think of something. Like, I've always known that's part of the culture out there. And I'm going to try to word this as short as possible, but you just made me think of it. Do you think, like, does that type of loyalty to, like, I'll bring this title back for the family, for, like, the brothers, for the community, does that give, and I'm not saying Islam or Khabib or anyone's boring, but, like, the fighting style of, like, ground dominant, just dominate on the ground, neutralize, it's them prioritizing winning and bringing it back to the community, as opposed to like someone like Gaethje who's like, let's just bang because it.
The mentality of winning, honestly, I think it came from me more than anything because I'm the master at winning at the number one cost: win. Number two is entertainment. I don't believe in entertainment first. I believe in winning first, because if you're the winner, I'll give you guys an example what I'm talking about. Why it's important to win. I had one of my friends who was the promoter for Strikeforce. He's one of my best friends. He was actually my teacher, Scott Coker. And I helped Scott Coker develop Strikeforce way back then by telling him he should get into MMA, et cetera, et cetera. I have all the fighters that can help you, blah, 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 this and that. So anyway, so I got him involved. And one of my guys became the light heavyweight world champion for Strikeforce. No, not Luke Rockhold. No, Bobby Southworth. Earlier
Oh
on,
shit,
earlier
my
on.
bad.
So Bobby, no, Luke was exciting. Back earlier in the days, Luke was exciting before he stopped listening. But before that, Luke was pretty exciting. But so it was Bobby Southworth, and Scott Coker did not like Bobby. He said he's boring, he sucks. I want to cut him. But guess what? He wasn't losing, so you can't cut him, right? Otherwise, Bobby would have been cut. So the winning part was he can't cut you as long as you keep winning. Once you lose, oh boy, it could be over. Once he lost, bye-bye. See you later. So therefore, my analogy of why winning is first is explainable when I say something like that, and it registers home. You go, well, I need to support my family. Like, I got to get married, or my girl wants the ring. Man, if I lose this fight because I want to entertain the fans, the promoter's going to get rid of me because he needs to make money, and that's his job. And my job is to keep my job. So when you explain it to somebody like that, the fighter will go, no, I'm gonna get the win first, then I'm gonna be exciting. But if I got to win and I'm be ugly, then let it be ugly, because I got another day, I got a job.
To counterpoint that just a little bit, Conor McGregor, obviously he won, right? That was number one. But he had the personality, and still he makes more money now than in pretty much anybody else, not winning, but off of personality. Yeah. So is there anything that you guys do to try to teach any of that, or is that just a God-given gift to be able to talk shit?
You leave them alone. You let them do what they do. I don't tell them what to do. That's who they are. You have to let them be who they are. You can't control who they are. You cannot. All you can do is, when there's something wrong, you point it out. If they don't want to listen, then they don't want to listen. You just point it out. I never tell my guys, don't do this fight. I demand you not take this fight. Hey, you want to take that fight? Go ahead. This is the risk. This and that. This and that. And I would say, you want to make it an easy fight, you make it a hard fight. It's up to you. I'll give you an example. Way back in the day when I had Josh Koscheck, and Josh Koscheck had the impression that he thought he was pretty good at striking, and he was going to fight Chris Lytle, and he was going to stand up with Chris Lytle. And I was telling him, Josh, you cannot stand with this guy. I'm telling you, you better not stand with him. We need to focus on wrestling. You need to wrestle. He can't wrestle. No, I'm going to stand with him. I'm going to stand with him. Go, Josh, you can't stand with him. Please don't. Let's work the wrestling. No, I'm going to stand with him. So I'm trying to figure out, I have to figure out, my job is try to get my fighter to figure out how I can get him to fight properly. So what I did is I pulled up Chris Lytle's boxing record, right, which is 20-something and 1 or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but he has quite a few boxing matches. A majority of it, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 1 loss. I could be wrong. Maybe he has no losses in his boxing. So what I did is I printed it out. Josh Koscheck was outside. I dropped it right in his lap, and I just took off. The next day he goes, okay, Hav, I get it. So he went to grappling and wrestling with Chris Lytle. Boring fight. So at the very, very end, Josh decided he was going to stand with him, because he wants to live. And he got clipped. Chris Lytle clipped him. So had he started that way at the beginning, you don't know what's going to happen, but the likelihood of him having his hands raised at the end were not as good. I'm not going to say, you can't say he'll never would have won that, but I'll just say they weren't as good, because, Chris Lytle was a much better boxer by far.
You very much take a business approach, from what I'm hearing so far, to pretty much your outlook on everything. It's risk analysis.
Yeah.
It's if there's somebody that's better than me to teach you this, I'm going to go find them.
Yeah.
Right. That's a very much business approach, right? I'm not the best at everything. I'm really good at everything, but if there's somebody that's better, I'll go find them. It is a very much business approach to a coaching / sport.
I look at it as a winning approach to life. I never look at it as just sport related. I look life related. It's just, how do we win in life? By looking at your approaches and looking at what's the best way to win in life. Not just fighting. Fighting is the same as living. You have to fight to live. You have to fight to get to wherever you need to get in life. It's not as simple as that. Just go to work and it'll come to you. No, you have to work very hard. You have to work very intelligent. You have to work strategically for you to move up to the ladder. If you don't, it's pure luck. And who really runs into pure luck? Not most people do not. It's earned. It's earned. Mike, did you become who you became by pure luck, or did you work your ass off to do what you're doing? Did you or did you not improve your technique tenfold? Because the version I've seen of you versus what I've seen in the UFC is not the same guy. Watching you shadow box, and the smoothness, the transition of your moves was a hell of a lot different than it was when I seen you fight MMA. Hell of a lot different. So could you have gotten to that point where you were right now if you would have stayed the old guy, unless you got with the new guy, or you mentally changed, where you're saying, you know what, I'm going to change, I'm going to focus on this, I'm going to stay dedicated to this craft, and I'm going to hone it. And from my version of what I see of you, you've done that. And therefore, I looked at you, and actually when you're going to fight Luke, and Luke was talking, overlooking you, I went, Man, Luke's a great athlete, but Jesus Christ, I go, you're talking bare knuckle, and you're talking about a guy that can take it. You take out his teeth, you take out his nose, you take out his eye, he's still going to be looking at you and coming right at you, and you better be prepared for that guy. And I personally don't
Mm,
think he was prepared for
thank
that
you.
guy, and that's the guy you are. So if someone doesn't understand who you are, how are they really going to think they're going to beat you in something you're really, really good at? You proved it by destroying all
Thank
the
you.
guys you have destroyed because you put your mind there and your blood and guts, but your technique also. You're not just that. Because if you were, you'd have got
Thank
your
you,
ass
sir.
beat. You didn't. You beat there, and that's the truth.
There, I argue with myself all the time about, man, I used to set people down easily in training and stuff like that. What was so different? Because I honestly believe, with everything I know now, I would beat my young self up, no problem. And I definitely, training is much different these days. People look at me differently, so I have to enter the training room with a different mindset. Oh, I'm gonna work with you for a little bit, and I save that Super Saiyan in my back pocket. Where if they're doing too much better, then I gotta go and go a little crazy on them, because that's my style, and I am down to get dirty and the nitty gritty in there. But I appreciate you saying that, and I do think that, obviously my kids helped. Having children, having a family made me button down a lot more, and like really think about, more strategy to everything. And even in my unpredictable, little chaotic style, there are lots of strategies in that style that I can make my opponent think something, or I try not to let myself ever think too much or too little about my opponent. If I see something when I throw a jab, the next step is to throw that jab and then throw what else I saw, and then see how it develops from there. So I definitely, I was always trained by someone who made me think analytically. He always said that word, analytical, and not linear, not forward and backwards. We got to go side to side and around. It's something about you coaches, man. You guys that have been through life, and you have a great mentality about you, that I have coaches that I feel like I've never seen mad, never seen them angry or distraught or upset. They just kind of take things with a grain of salt, and they always have that philosophical response to whatever we may be going through. So, I mean, partly of what your question was, that's where my head started thinking over all these
Yeah, and,
years.
and you hit it on the nail too. Your love for your kids. There's your driving force in your wife, buddy. I mean, you're fighting for somebody. There was a purpose for you to do what you're doing. There's a purpose for you why you have your
Amen.
strategies. There's a reason why you dedicated yourself to it. There's a reason why you, like you said, the Super Saiyan. There's a reason why that's the person I'm talking about that's going to lose his nose, lose his ears, but he's still going to be in your face. So having that with the technical aspect and strategies that you become makes you almost nearly impossible to beat on a round by round basis, because if they maybe get you 1 or 2 rounds, they still got 2 or 3 to go with you, and it's kind of hard to keep up with that if you stay that way, without taking as much damage, which you don't want, because obviously the more damage you take to the head, that's brain cells you're killing, and it's going to slow you down. And just to give you guys a real quick story about this, many, many years ago, when Phil Baroni, was coming to me, they were asking me, Phil Baroni wants to come to your gym. And I said, hell no, I don't want that crazy guy in my gym. No, no. So I kept denying him. I kept denying him. And finally, this guy named Mike DiSabado, who I got to know, who's a journalist, he said, I know Phil, and he's a great guy. So, I think maybe you should give him a shot. I go, Mike, because of you, I will give him a shot. I gave him a shot. He comes in, I brought him in my office, and I said, you know what? I go to all the people I see in the UFC and stuff. I mean, there isn't hardly anybody I don't like. I said, but I don't like you. I don't like you. And he's like, his mouth was like wide open. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't like you. I go, but Mike DeSalvador told me that you're a good guy and I should give you a chance. So I'm gonna do that as a result of that. He goes, well, he's just like, well, I appreciate your honesty, but all I can tell you is all my friends that I had in high school are still my friends today. And when he said that, I said, oh, I dropped my guard even way much because of that result. He said, I said, okay, I give that. So he's sparring with us, and he's like a magnet for punches. You throw a punch 2 feet off of him, somehow he finds a way you hit him in the head. And I'm looking at him, and he's watching him moves. I go, Phil, I go, why is it that you allow people to hit you? I go, if you can learn anything from me, is don't get hit. It doesn't benefit you to get hit. And fast forward 8 years or 7 years later, he tells me, he goes, you know why I let myself get hit? I go, no. He goes, it's because, I wanted to show you how tough I was. And I looked at him. I said, you know what? Out of all the years I've had the stupidest things said to me, you have just taken the cake as the number one stupidest thing you could ever say. You let people hit you on purpose so you can prove to me how tough you are? You just showed me how stupid you are. I go, don't you ever let anybody hit you because you want to show how tough you are. The tough guys don't allow you to get hit. But when you get hit, the tough guys are what you do, Mike. You go through it. You don't about it. You take care of business, but you don't want these guys to hit you. But if they hit you, you're like, hey,
I
man,
know.
okay, you hit me one, I'm going to hit you one. And that's the way it goes. But if you're going to tell me that, yeah, I love these guys hit me, okay, then by some miracle you became a champion without a strategy then, because I don't see champions not have a strategy, and I don't see champions not have a heart for somebody that drives them.
Man, I'll tell you, getting hit there came a time, I've tried to move my head. God made me a certain way. And sometimes when you're getting real close to the fight, it's like I give in to the fact that I'm going to be hit and I'm going to like it when they do it, so that, it does something to them. And I try to put myself in a position when I am hit to hit them back. But I try to move and I try to work the technique. I've been getting my hands up and working the guard and the boxing, because the sport kind of changed for me. And, now I'm just boxing or bare knuckle boxing or both. And, putting the game plans together and having the time to put in the consistent, constant work in order to grow myself, because business and all these other things that hit, time is short sometimes, and sometimes the body needs a rest. But I think about the Dagestanis a lot. Do they rest? They don't rest. They get back up and go train again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they rest, but they don't get into the sparring situation. They get into grappling, they get into the training, but they don't do the training. And the aspect that we just explained is the aspect I'm talking about. That you don't want to get hit, but you get hit, and you just accept it. You have to accept it. If you got hit, if you don't accept it, brother, you got problems. So you have to accept it. So there's nothing that stops you when you get hit again. You're not going to hesitate, because if you say, oh, I can't get hit, then you get hit again. What goes through your mind? God damn it, I got hit again. Then guess what? Your opponent is no longer there where you thought he was going to be there. But if you're getting hit and you accept it and you keep coming forward, he hits you, you hit him right back right away. But if you're not accepting it, he hits you, you're not accepting it, then you see, you think, oh, he hit me. Too late, too late, too late. He's gone.
it's a fine line.
Yes.
It's a
Your
fine
your
line
your
for
analogy
sure.
of how you fighting is exactly what I would say. Good job.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
You do have a very similar style, I would say, to Roy Jones
Don't
Jr.
shoot. What to
What?
who? Roy Jones
Roy
Jr.
Jones Jr.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Phil Baroni. I was gonna get mad.
I mean, you did tell me you like to get hit and you love it and you just eat it up.
You said Roy Jones?
Yes, I'm talking to
That's my
Javier.
guy. Listen, I grew up. That was my training. I watched Roy on YouTube put his hands behind his back and do all that slick stuff. That was my training in high
Yeah,
school.
he was the one of the great ones. Unbelievable.
He didn't want to get hit, right? And so we've had him on here. He's a good friend of mine. And he's always told me, like, Josh, I hate hard sparring, because I watch guys that fought Frazier and all these guys that could have been title winners a couple of years later, but they were brain damaged by the time they got out of sparring with these guys. He's like, so I just don't believe in hard sparring. So is that one of your philosophies as well, Javier? Is like, what's the point in taking all the damage in practice?
In practice, if you don't have a fight, and you're at a world class level, or you're a world champion like Mike is, I would look at you and say, save yourself. Don't be doing any sparring. You don't need it. You don't need it. You got a you got a fight camp. There's your sparring and fight camp. Other than that, don't risk it. If you're already at the best, you're the best. Work on the technique. Work on other parts of the aspect of your game. You don't need to work in the cage type thing or the ring, because you have those 2 months of preparation to do that. You just stay in shape relatively while you're maintaining. That's it. I've never ever allowed my guys, when they won a world title or they already had a fight and they're at the highest they can be. Now it's about maintenance, and it's not about, let's keep sparring all the time. Hell no. No. You already reached that.
Well, see, I feel like some of the grappling and stuff, like I've obviously gone far away from the grappling. I've done it I've done maybe 6 rounds in the last 6 months or so of grappling, and I feel like the grappling really twists my body up, and I get pains and stuff from that. So I just been focusing on the boxing, and a lot of stuff in the boxing aspect. I feel like these street guys who come to the gym and we're all about, like pride, and we're tough men and we work so hard, we might as well get in the ring and work it out and see how our training's been going. When these guys call me out for that stuff, or someone's got a camera and they say, they want to do a round, I'm like, okay, I see that camera. We're going to fight today. You know what I mean? Like the new age, the new generation of influencer, they want to catch me on camera. And that's why I've been blessed to, my greatest attribute of being able to take hits. And, one thing they say about me is that I get smarter with every punch landed to my face. So I'm the only guy that does reverse CTE.
He's Benjamin Button of getting punched.
Cheers. So
Javier's like, man, this is so foolish.
No, man, it's true. It's like that's the way I have to think in order for these things to keep going. And because being in the gym as I'm getting older, yesterday I ran 2 miles and then boxed for an hour and a half after. When I started that run, I was struggling a little bit, man, but I ended up doing 2 miles in like 16 minutes. So it was
your
fast
mentality, what you just said, is the reason why you are who you are, and that's what I was talking about. You have to accept it, because if you don't, then you're like, oh, oh, you're not going to be who you are. You cannot. It's impossible, because you have too much thought going on. You can't. It's got to be programmed to fight, not the 30-degree angle here, 40-degree angle here, turn left, turn right, this, and then hit him with the right hand. By the time I turned left, I got hit 3 or 4 times. By the time I turned left, I got another hit 3 or 4 times. Why don't you just tell me, hit the guy with the right hand? Hit the guy with the left hook. Why this, that? No, punch me, I punch you. That's it. Simple as that.
Punch him in the face.
That's it.
Who is the best analytical fighter that you've coached, right? And who is just the best pure talent that you've coached?
The best analytical fighter, I'd have to say, is Islam Makhachev. He's really, really, really. That's why I always brag about him. How we can just tell him round by round, minute by minute, we can change the direction, because he's like that. And the most talented is Usman Nurmagomedov, Habib's cousin. He's like the Matrix.
Wow.
That guy is freaky of nature. The mental part is the part that Habib and I have to continuously work on him, because that's the part that continuously needs work. But this kid's got something I've never seen out of all the fighters I've ever trained. He's just like the Matrix to me in some things. You can't teach what he does.
High praise.
I mean, that makes me wonder. You were there for Umar's fight versus
Yes.
Merab. What can you talk to us about that a little bit? Did he come back to the corner and tell you my hand is broken? You know, I mean, or was his mind just still trapped and he was focused on trying to do and compete in any way that he could to make that fight more his? It was a very close fight and a great
Yeah, he
battle.
didn't say one word to Khabib or I about my hand was broken. And I was kind of wondering, why did he shoot in right away? He shot in, and when he shot in, Merab, I mean, the way Merab stopped him right in his midweight, I went, damn. I go, what the hell happened here? I couldn't figure it out because you know it's chaos when things like that go on during the fight. So and we had to get with Islam right after the fight. So and you know how it is, Mike, when you're in the octagon and Joe Rogan or whoever's speaking to you, and you're in the octagon, but we as not hearing him, we don't know exactly what the hell's going on, what's being said because it echoes. So I heard something about broken hand, and in my mind, I'm thinking, why is Umar talking about broken hand? His sparring was great. He didn't show no indication of his hand was broken. So right after the fight, I went back to the room, after Islam's fight, and there's Umar with his finger like almost off. And I'm like looking at him like, what the hell is this? I didn't know, and sure enough, it's like I go, he broke it in the first round. He didn't tell us. We didn't know. I wish he would have told us because we could have changed the game plan because, the game plan would have completely changed. There would have been no grappling whatsoever. It would have been more of a kicking distance fight, because there's no way, as you know, when you have a broken hand like that, the more energy comes out of you. And he was using that hand and the more energy. You're ineffective when you have a hand like that. When you're grappling with a guy who's strong, that's got the best cardio I've ever seen of any human in the UFC. I've never seen cardio like that. I've never seen anybody in the fifth round stronger than the first round. Never in my life I've seen that. Cain Velasquez was known for great cardio, but Cain would get tired in the fifth round, even though
Mm-hmm.
he kept going. But he would be tired. This guy, it's like he's never even gone one round. And I'm like, and I knew that going into it. So I would say, well, we only need 5 rounds. So, this guy's the Energizer Bunny. We only need 5 rounds. But, look, the guy did a great performance in the fifth round, how he took that fight, not based on damage, based on acting. If you watch the fight, turn it off, and you see the actual damage, there was no damage. But as far as the presentation of who won, he won. He presented himself. I'm the winner. Umar was gasping, and this guy didn't do anything, but he did like, yeah, here I am tapping here. He did fantastic. I mean, you got to give him props for that. You can't take that away from him because he showed I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. So that's what the fight game's all about, right? And it doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what anybody thinks. What matters is those three judges.
That actually was going to be one of my questions because at UFC 311, you have been vocal about how, kind of showboating sways the crowd, the judges, and everything like that. How do you tell your fighters to, you know, counter that?
Well, what we did with Umar is I was working with him on after each round, put your head up, act like the winner. You got to act like the winner. You cannot pretend like, oh, you won that round, but you got your head down. Judges look at that, whether they do
Mm-hmm.
realize it or not. Judges look at that and they judge against you because if it's a close round and they see you gasping for air and the other guy's walking around like King Kong, their mind gets, because there's a lot of pressure on the judge, a lot of pressure. So he has to make the right decision. And then once he puts the decision, that guy's grabbing that scorecard and he doesn't get to change his mind. So image is extremely important. And Merab is fantastic at that. And am I being biased? Of course I'm being biased. That's my guy. Of course I'm being biased.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you, no, I'm telling the truth. No, I'm being biased. That's my boy. Yes. So that's a fact, but that's the way I see it.
I'm interested how the connection was made. What made Khabib come to AKA? Where did you guys first link up, and where did this all
It
start?
all started with one of my fighters, King Mo Loao. Muhammad. He was my Bellator champion, and he was Muslim. And he said, brother, he goes, coach, not brother. He said, I say brother because I'm here a lot. He said, coach, I have some brothers that I know that want to come down here to train with us. He says, is it cool? And I said, promote anybody, yeah, wherever you want to come down, no problem. So that's how it was. Habib came because of King Mo. And he came because of the
Wow.
wrestling with DC and Cain Velasquez and all the other great wrestlers we had in our gym. That's why he came. And when he came, Habib couldn't strike at all, didn't know any striking whatsoever. And I started taking him on, as coaching him personally. And he never trained in striking. He just very minimal, very minimal. And he never went and trained with anybody but me. He trained with me striking, I would say 90% or higher. Because when he was at home, I wanted him to train with other coaches, but he wouldn't. He'd only train with his father and myself. He had a little bit of training with Pops, my coach, and maybe a couple other ones a little bit. But the majority of his training was his father, which is pure grappling, judo, jiu-jitsu, and sambo, and me. And I got him boxing, but then I wanted him kicking. And so I got him kicking, I got him doing knee, and I got him doing everything as time went on. But Islam and Umar and all the other guys, they started right away doing stand-up. And some of them started in stand-up. So only Habib was the one that was late on the stand-up. That's why people always seen an improvement in him. And I kept saying, you guys haven't seen the best in him yet. And still we haven't. At the very, very end, Habib was, believe it or not, you guys, kicking everybody's butt in stand-up.
I bet.
I believe it. Shout out to King Mo, man. I mean,
Did you guys see the released the just released UFC footage with more audio of the whole Khabib and Conor fight?
Oh, dude, those are so good. They should drop
Dude,
those. We
they
need to
did
do
the
that for Dirty
extended
Boxing.
version on this. It
Oh,
is so good.
Dude, Khabib was a monster.
Bro, the team is like, wrestling, just get him to the ground, get him to the ground. And he's like, no. And then he comes right out and drops him with an overhand right.
Conor too. And if you look at his first few fights, he would throw, and I'm not making, he would throw these wild, just like they were fake punches just to get you to cover up. He can shoot a takedown. Then he went to dropping Conor with an overhand right that's like
so
iconic.
Good.
I mean, he threw that fake takedown and he landed that overhand.
Yes.
But that fight was really good. The Khabib and Conor fight was really good. Conor actually showed up that night. He stuffed a takedown. That was surprising. But then, Khabib's control just takes over after just a few minutes. And I was going to say that Khabib reminds me, before we lost Javier, Khabib reminds me of Royce a little bit. The way that Royce, the speed and style was differently. There he is. He's back. I was saying how Khabib reminds me a little bit of Royce, the way that you were describing how his striking was newer, or he technically just got to striking. It was like Royce.
Gracie, you mean?
Yes,
just
Royce
opposite?
Gracie got to the UFC, and then it's like he learned a jab, and then he learned a front kick, and then, it was all just to get him to position so he could drag you to the floor.
Yeah, the whole point was I wanted him to use what he was better than anybody in the world at, that nobody could stop him, man. I didn't want him to test his striking ever because he was better than everybody on the ground. So why the hell would I risk, him? And his father put him in my care. His father trusted me to do the right thing by him. And that's why when his father passed away, I created Father's Plan. So we never forget the legendary, Abdul Manap and the great contribution he did through his students. And I didn't want to ever disrespect that man by changing his son to something I thought would benefit him. No, because I wanted to keep him loyal to where he was, the roots of his father, because otherwise his father would have probably said, I don't want you going with that guy because he's going to change who you are. And I don't want you changed because you're the most dominant in the world. And think about it. Who's dominated him on the ground? Who's even come close? I've never seen it in my gym. I say it plenty of times. I say, look, there's only been one person that's really won rounds from him here and there. And it was Islam Makhachev. No one else ever has. In all the years that I've had that kid, no one's ever done that. So logically, and Mike, we're not talking about little guys. We're talking about world class guys that he dominated. So for me, it was very easy, black and white, for me to figure out how this guy should be fighting. If nobody can dominate you on the ground, no matter who it is, and we're talking about world jiu-jitsu champions, whoever, it didn't matter. You come in, he beat you up. That's just the way
Yeah.
he was. He was that good. So when you have someone that good, why would I gonna bother with trying to play with a stand up? Now at the very end, he got really good at stand up. I won't deny that, but I still his ground compared to his stand up was night and day. Always.
How good would he have been with maybe 2 more years of work with stand up? Like as just an
Oh,
overall fighter. I mean, could you imagine
yeah,
what
no,
he did to Conor in that last one?
yeah, like brother, he was killing these guys. I tell you, his last fight with Gagey, he was beating up everybody with a broken foot and all. He was beating up everybody on stand up at the gym. All the killers. He was one by one. He destroyed them all in stand up. All of them. Usman, all those guys. They couldn't hang with him. He was that good. And people don't realize that because they think the image of him back then. But like you said, when he fought with Conor, and he gave me a heart attack with that one because I'm like, okay, you got that out of the way, let's cut it out, take him down, because Conor, hey, let's face it, he was an ace striker. He hasn't been
Yeah.
the same after that loss with Khabib. He went down, and obviously I don't really like him because, obviously, you use the dirty tactics. You want to talk about a fighter, go ahead, free game. But you talked about religion, you talked about family, you talked about country. I don't respect fighters who do that. I love a fighter that sticks to the fighter. Or you can go out of his camp, it's okay. But leave my kids out of it, leave my wife out of it. What do they have to do? This is a job, this is a profession. We're entertainers. Leave my family out of it, leave my country out of it, leave my religion out of it. And I'll never respect a fighter that goes about getting attention like that. Mike, you've never crossed the line from all the interviews I've seen of you. Even when you smacked on somebody that actually started and you smacked on an older guy, you were in the right. You were 100% in the right. You handled that perfectly. Because why? Because you were respectful, but you weren't about to get punked. You weren't about to get punked. So, hey, you just because you're older, don't disrespect me either. And you did it right. Is all I'm saying is you don't attack anybody but that individual that's trying to attack you. And that's the way a fighter should do it. And for me personally, I don't like it when, you attack people like Dillon Danis. What did he do with Logan Paul? He comes after his girlfriend and his girlfriend smacks him with the lawsuit. And all of a sudden he better be quiet. Otherwise you're going to get sued. Well, that's what happened to all guys that attack people that are not involved in the fight game. They didn't choose to fight you. Just because, like, can you imagine, Mike, someone's gonna start attacking your kids? What's that gonna do to you?
No, I can't
You're
imagine.
gonna go crazy because you should.
Mike's going to find him before the fight. Mike's going to go to their
Yes,
house before the
yes,
fight.
yes. I would too. I would too. And that's what I'm saying. We're fighting. Let's fight. Let's keep it between us.
Getting me hyped up over here, coach.
True.
Ooh.
Hey, Mike, Javier, have you seen Dirty Boxing yet? That's Mike, Mike, John Jones promotion.
No, I haven't seen it.
New sport.
I want to get your feedback on it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
We'd love to show
yeah.
it to you. Here's a clip we have of Dirty Boxing. There, no takedowns. So, quick breakdown of the rules
Yeah.
is boxing with elbows. You can throw spinning back fists. You can throw Superman punches. There's no kicking, no legs, and no takedowns. You can use dirty fighting, dirty boxing style to push your opponent around into the punch, things like that. If you get a knockdown with a strike, you can ground and pound for a finish or until they get themselves back up or cause a stalemate for the ref to stand them back up. and then the boxing continues?
It's pretty interesting. I would say I hate to say it, but I think it's safer than boxing. Because when you're
It is.
taking a guy down like that, I mean, he's not going to be able to take that many punches before the ref stops it. So there's no 10 count. Then he gets taken down again, another 10 count. How many times have we seen a boxer die when got taken down, he gets back up, gets taken down again, gets back up, and next thing you know, he's in the hospital, he's dying, blah, blah, blah. Seen it many a times. Why is it that
Every
the
year.
UFC, yeah, why is it the UFC has never seen one of those? Because why? Because the guy taps out, the guy basically, he gets knocked down and the ref pounces and stops it. There's no 10
Mhm.
count. And I think that's one thing that in boxing, for the safety, they should do that. And everybody thought at the beginning that, MMA is so dangerous, but yet how many people have died in the UFC? Not one. There had been how many deaths total in MMA since its existence? A couple, two or three,
There's been
maybe.
like 2 in the last 3 or 4 years, and they were regional.
Yeah, yeah. So look at that. I mean, how many die in football? More die in football.
Yeah.
So the sport itself is safer, but it doesn't look as safe. But it is safer. It is safe for sport. And
I'll
what you
tell
guys
you,
have going on?
This is 4-ounce gloves, right?
yeah,
Versus
4-ounce
10-ounce
gloves.
gloves.
It does make really action packed. Like the fights we watched, they were super action packed based on the boxing style with elbows. If you got a guy blocking, you can elbow through the guard, and if it goes to
Yeah.
the ground, it doesn't stop. So the action is just
You
continuous.
know this, Javier. How many guys are at an elite level, right? But can't wrestle or grapple at that level, right? They can strike at that level, but they can't wrestle or grapple or do jiu-jitsu at that level.
And they don't bother to get to the level. Yeah, they don't bother to get to that point. They're top level striking, and they want to keep it. You know how many fighters I've went through that I told them, you want to be a champion, you want to be a contender, get in jiu-jitsu. All I see you is strike. This is not you want to strike, then strike. But you want to be a world champion in MMA, you better have wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Otherwise, forget about it.
Javier, send us those guys. I want the top strikers that can't wrestle.
Yeah, yeah, those are the guys. Yeah, those are the guys. In MMA, I don't need them for MMA. I
Yeah,
need them
no,
for
100%.
what you guys are doing. That's fantastic. Or bare knuckle.
We don't want to compete with UFC. You know what I mean? We're not going to compete with UFC. What's the point? We want the best strikers on the planet that can't wrestle and grapple.
But the key thing is, you said you don't want to compete with the UFC. The reality is, I was with somebody not too long ago, and they were saying, "Oh, we'll compete. We'll put in billions." I go, "I don't care how many billions you're going to put in. You are not going to compete with them because number one, they have the vast majority of the top talent, and these guys are on contracts. You just can't say I'm going to give you this, and it's not like boxing, brother. So
No.
they go no. I go no. They go, well, then forget about that. I go, yeah. So don't think about competing with the UFC because you're going at it wrong. You got to compete with yourself and make money for your family, make money for the fighters, and make the organization grow. And that's it. There's no close second. Okay, there's only one Premier League. One. There's no close second. Zero. But
Yeah.
if you were thinking the attitude of, oh, I want to make money. I want to make money for my employees. I want to keep a long-lasting relationship in this sport and keep it growing, then do that and you will be successful. But if you go out thinking I'm going to compete with them, you're crazy. You're smoking. You're not going to do it.
You're 100% right. He is. You're smoking. This is what I had this conversation with some guys the other day, and I said what we're doing is different. We created a new rule set that caters to strikers. It's exciting. It's more scalable than like maybe bare knuckle or some other stuff that's more violent, right? Because it's more family friendly because you have the gloves on. You can still get top tier talent. You're not going to compete with the UFC. What's the point? Are you going to go start a basketball league and compete with the NBA, or start a football league and compete with NFL? No, you can't. You can't afford to.
I mean, why isn't lingerie football league more popular? I don't know why.
It's not.
I don't know why it's not more popular.
That was like 10 years ago.
I would watch that Super Bowl, but I don't know.
It's just in your IG reels because
I have season tickets. Mike, hit me up.
catered towards your ads. More you click on it, Mike.
Oh man.
That's the bottom line. Is what you guys have going on is your brand, nobody else's brand, and you're competing only with yourself. And the biggest compliment to you guys is going to be when everybody else is following your model, but you're way ahead of the game. That's what you guys want. You want other leagues to form up and doing what you're doing. You don't want them changing the rules. You want them keeping exactly like you do, but if they are going to do something, not make it too much different. They need to keep it like you guys are, because that's the way you grow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, think about it. If the UFC didn't have that model that everybody tried to replicate and do, then they wouldn't be where they're at. It only grew
And what do you
because
have?
you have to have something that everybody wants to participate in. If you don't have participation, you don't have eyeballs to the screen. You really don't.
We've
So
already got one. We've already got one.
yeah.
They came out the other day, extreme dirty boxing. And I was like,
Nuh-uh.
I swear. And a very famous fighter is the one leading the charge on it.
That's a
And I just
compliment.
laughed at it. And they hit me and they're like, we're like, well, do we hit attorneys? Like, nah, we don't hit attorneys. Let them run it. We've already got the lead. We're in the lead, right? And we got our lane and we're in the lead. Let them chase us. Let them chase us down the highway.
Spend your money on making your league better. Why
That's
go
right.
after
I
attorneys?
love it.
Why put your energy there? They're stupid. Let
I
them
love it.
let them do what they're doing. It's a compliment. Let 100 more leagues come up. Why not?
I agree.
You're still ahead of the game. You get the whole thing behind everything is, let's put it this way. We all know it. Talent. I've always said it for 30 plus years. Talent. You want to win the market? Get the talent. Okay? Pick the talent. Pick the raw guys. Pick the guys that are going to be the somebodies of the world. Then you can dominate. If you're going out there spending the money on the bells and whistles and you're forgetting about the talent, good luck with that. Good luck with that, because everybody wants to see the best fight the best. So if you have this particular style that you guys have, dirty boxing, then you want to see the best dirty boxer versus the next dirty boxer. You don't want to see an entertaining fight against an entertaining fight if it's not for a world title. If it's just pure entertainment, and you got the beer guzzling guys that they're going to want to watch. But if you have a talented guy versus another talented guy, you got individuals like myself that have interest in watching the skill set, of this entertainment, not okay, I'm drunk out of my and here I'm watching these guys. It's like, I'm sorry, it's about skill. It's about skill, and guys, fans really love the skill. Think about it. There's a lot involved in skill.
We did have Yoel Romero fight twice, which goated, right? We had Andre Arlovsky fight. We've got a lot of young up and comers.
You know what? Our card, our fight of the night that we gave $20,000 to, $10K to each fighter, was it was an amazing fight between Paugas versus
Zach
the
Pauga.
Wolf.
Rob Perez and Zach Pauga.
Those guys slugged it out, and they fought so technical. There was so much skill involved, and they fought like they were fighting for something to try to change their lives. And it was really a great cap on the event. Obviously, having the main event and Andre Arlovsky being the co-main event. I mean, Andre showing up to perform as well. It was just really great to watch. If you guys, anybody wants to go watch those, they're on YouTube. Dirty Boxing was live on YouTube when we released it, and the clips are still there. So go check that out if you want. And
I have one last question for Javier, and then you guys can go. I've got to get on a call, and I apologize for that because this is one of the most interesting interviews that I've had, and we've had just about everybody on. So props to you, Javier. But I asked Movsar 2 weeks ago. We need a girl. If we're looking for a girlfriend for Mac Malley, are we going big Latina, or are we going Russian chick?
I don't know what McNally likes. I mean, is he like?
Oh, bro, I'm from New Mexico. You know what I like, bro.
Opinion. We want your opinion.
Ukraine, Russian or Ukraine?
Right, Movsar said both.
Yeah, either. Yeah.
I could go both, but you're asking me one pick. I go Russian. Russian.
Russian. All right.
We're gonna disagree on that.
Listen to this. Hey, the two greatest coaches, Roy Jones Jr. and Javier Russian.
Yeah. Javier, can I throw one in here? Man, we like Bagz just said, we have everyone on here, and I haven't been this pumped about a podcast in a while. And there's only two quick ones I want to ask you. It might not be a very quick question. Mike's going to start rubbing his eyebrows because it takes a little bit of – I don't want you to think I'm coming off disparaging at all. Khabib is oftentimes left out of the GOAT conversation. Now, in 50 years, when you look at the paperwork and on paper and the records, people are going to be like, well, what about this? And my point is, when I argue with people on the internet about who the GOAT is, I don't consider Khabib technically in like the greatest of all time. That would be like a John Jones or GSP, in my opinion. I think Khabib qualifies for most dominant of all time. I mean, that dude beat the shit out. It's nothing against him. But I'm wondering from you, because I know you're an introspective guy, and I want to get the realest answer I possibly can out of you. Was there any selfish part of you in like nothing but respect to Khabib and his family when he said he was done fighting? He was the only fighter I ever believed. Because, you know, everyone always comes back, and I said, no, he's done, bro. That guy values his father and his mother and all this. Is there any selfish part of you that thought, we really had like the GOAT here and like the 30-0 dream and all this stuff? Or did Islam coming along and completing father's dream like satisfy you? Like, do you get what I'm saying? I know you get what I'm saying.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. For me, because I've always talked to Khabib about, to me, the greatest fighter of all time was Muhammad Ali. And I told him not because of what he did in the ring, but because what he did outside the ring. And I consider him the greatest for that reason. Is if I'm going to go and in the ring, then it's going to be Floyd Mayweather, but I'm going by what they do outside. And I told Khabib, it's what you do outside that defines who you are in my eyes. And to me, Muhammad Ali was that. And to me, Khabib was that because what he did outside, not just what he did inside. Did he fight enough times to be arguably in that position? No. But did he dominate everybody to be in that position? Arguably 1,000,000%. Yes. Nobody's been as dominant as he has ever. He's never been touched, never been hurt. And John Jones, as great as he is, I'm sorry. If you're Lance Armstrong and you lost all your Tour de France because you got caught cheating, no matter how many years later you lost them all, well, what does that do for John Jones the 2 times he got caught while he's still the right guy? Now, did he need that stuff to become great? My opinion, no. No, I've seen that guy. He is one of the most incredible athletes I've seen in person. He was unbelievably gifted, so he didn't need any of that to be as great. So I don't put him in that category only for that reason. And if it wasn't for that, I'd have to arguably say John Jones, But let's face it, how many times did he have close fights where we thought maybe he lost? I thought, for me, he lost to Dominic Reyes. I thought Dominic beat him. And I thought Santiago or whatever, the other Russian with the hammer guy, I thought that was a really close fight. Gustafsson was a close fight. What's been close
Gus
with Khabib?
won, yeah.
Yeah, what's been close with him? None. But did he fight enough? No, he didn't. He didn't. And, and GSP got knocked out, and he lost twice, So for me, and then Anderson Silva fought past what he should have, So
dude,
these guys all did that.
I get so much for saying that. I'm like, dude, it hurts your legacy if you fight too long. It's nothing against Anderson Silva, but if everyone remembers 8 losses at the tail end of your career, it hurts you. Like, you got to learn how to leave at the right spot, and that's something I really hold, I really commend Khabib and his family for walking away when it was like everything is right in front of you, but you were right there. It's like he could have gone on 40-0, and again, respect.
Yeah, he could have probably, in my opinion, went to welterweight and middleweight and won all those titles. I'm not sure about light heavyweight, but I'm damn sure about welterweight and middleweight. I'm damn sure he would have won those. I am very confident about that. I know that's you're talking because he didn't, but I felt, because I've seen it, guys.
We never saw anyone grapple like him.
Yeah, no, not even close.
Still to this day, I don't see nobody like him.
Yeah, not even Hoist Gracie. Like, shout out Mike. Like, not even Hoist. Like, Hoist was people when they didn't know what they were doing.
Well, that was jiu-jitsu. It was different than top pressure sambo.
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying, like, he was like just no one could stop Khabib. I don't know, man.
Javier, I want to thank you so much for your time and your knowledge today. It was great speaking with you. Learned a lot, man, and look forward to seeing you and your guys compete later on this year.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun, and I apologize for blanking out, but my battery ran out.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Thanks for
All right.
coming on.
All right, guys. Take care. All right.
You're a
See ya.
legend, man.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. That was a banger. Shout out to Javier Mendez, man. Shout out to the puppies that were born last night. Welcome to the world, little puppies. Shout out
Dude,
to
I'll name
Matt
one Perry right now. I swear to God.
taking
There's
care of them
6.
things. You gotta
Name one
talk to the
Platinum,
fam
Perry.
about their names. I already have a dog named Platinum.
Well, but dude, you could have like a really dope, cool one too, like 2 named Platinum. Anyway, dude,
My sister just got a golden doodle, I think.
a Labradoodle.
A labradoodle, that's what it is. Golden doodles are dogs, but labradoodle is more because it's like chocolate brown.
Yeah.
It's such a little baby. It's like 8 weeks. Reminded me of when I got Platinum. He was 5 weeks old, man. He was so little. And
Wait, do you still have a dog? You mentioned my dogs and I mentioned them, but like, do you still have a dog?
yes, I'm gonna get Platinum. Hold on.
Yeah, get Platinum.
Come here, Platinum.
Dude, why have you never done this?
Come here. No. Come here. Platinum. Come here. Come here, baby.
Platinum.
Come here. Right here. Come here, right here, baby. Come on, you're such a good boy. It's okay. You won't get in trouble. Come here. Come here, bud.
Platinum, come here, handsome. I want to see him.
Come here. Come on the chair like this. Look. Okay. Come right here. Oh, say hi.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. A shepherd mix. Did you say that? I thought it was going to be a pit bull for sure, dude.
Oh, he's a German Shepherd, man.
Hey, that's my second favorite.
He's a really good dog. That's why he didn't want to get up on the chair. He knows he's not supposed to. He does gives me hugs and stuff, but man, animal people are good people, man. You gotta respect the animals. I got a cat.
I agree, man.
Another little dog is my mom's dog. And I'm about to close on a crib right now, so I'm about to go do a signing and all this stuff, man. I just want to say thank you so much for watching OVERDOGS Podcast. Me and Mac, we're happy to bring it to you. Shout out to Ice Bagz. He's doing big business all the time. And thank you to all our fans who've already liked and subscribed to our channel. We appreciate you, and we got more for you, man. Really good insights today from Javier Mendez about one of the greatest fighters of all time in Khabib and Islam. So shout out to that, man. Combat sports, we're going up. Brother, OVERDOGS Podcast for life. Shout out to the team, the squad, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right, tell the fam I said what's up, dude. Peace, man.
No doubt.